Welcome to That's So Clutch, an automotive podcast that bridges the gap between car industry experts and those who are not. Hey everyone, welcome back to That's So Clutch. I'm Alini Ferreira, your host, and today I'm with Brad McRae, owner and founder of Authentic Details in Austin, Texas. Brad, I hear you're quite the family man.
Yes, that's true. I am.
I'm sure building a family is hard work, but building the dream you've had for your entire life and career, I'm sure was even harder. Since you were 16 years old, you've been learning and detailing cars, and even while working in the corporate field, you continue to detail cars, giving you over 30 years of experience with, I'm sure, every single model, brand of car you can think of, almost.
That's probably true.
And then you risked it all and left your VP position at a digital marketing company to start your business, Authentic Details. What was a one-man shop in your garage grew to become a full working company with 8 employees and 3 service shops specializing in window tint, paint protection, and ceramic coating. Not only did your dreams come true, but Authentic Details is the #1 XPEL dealer in Austin. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So don't judge me, but I think I've only gotten maybe like 2 details ever in my life.
Okay.
But I know there are people out there that are probably wanting to learn more about it, especially new car owners. Why are details so important?
Well, I think if you look at your vehicle and you're interested in maintaining the value of your vehicle, that's going to give you a lot of return on that investment, keeping it clean. I always talk about, like, if you trade in a vehicle at a dealership or you put your car up for sale and you had 2 of the identical cars sitting next to each other, one which was never properly taken care of and one that still looked pretty close to brand new, that one that still looks pretty close to brand new is going to bring a much higher price.
Yeah.
You know, many more buyers, many more interested parties willing to pay top dollar for your car.
So detailing can for sure preserve the value of your vehicle.
Absolutely.
That's
And I don't know
awesome.
how you feel, but I like riding around in a clean car. It
Yeah.
just makes you feel like a new person.
Yeah.
When you have that
No,
detailed
for sure.
interior.
So are there any specific products or techniques that you'd recommend for maintaining like the exterior or interior of your car?
There's a host of them.
Okay, what's like your top 3 or 5?
I think if you look at the exterior of the vehicle, and if you're a do-it-yourselfer, there are a lot of really good ceramic-based, simple spray-on, wipe-off products that will do a great job of protecting your paint. You can buy most of those at the AutoZones and the auto parts stores, even Walmarts, those kinds of places.
Yeah.
So I would recommend doing that once a month, maybe even once every 2 months at a minimum. If you really want to give your paint, the top care. On the interior, it's really going to come down to the materials on the inside of the car. If you have a leather interior, it's really good to actually clean the leather and condition the leather.
It's just like a basic leather and cleaner and conditioner.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those. Same thing. You go to auto parts store,
Yeah.
the Walmarts, the Targets, whatever, and they've got a lot of these products. But you've got to remember that I always say dirt is actually smaller rocks that have been broken down to their finest particle. And if you're sitting on those while you're driving, you're going to abrade the leather. And that's why you get those wear spots in leather seats. So,
like especially like where you're sitting most of the time. There's just like it's always like 2 different colors.
Yeah. So if you keep it clean and conditioned, you're gonna. I'm not going to say you're going to completely prevent it, but you're going to definitely lengthen the life of the leather in the interior. There's also a lot of interior protectants that help preserve all the plastics and leathers and fake leathers that are on the interiors from UV, which is what breaks them down.
Oh yeah.
Like you remember the days of cracked dashes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you want to protect against UV as much as you can.
Does tint help with that though?
Absolutely. I mean, putting tint on all your windows is going to make a massive difference in, one, the heat inside the cabin.
I'm sure in Texas too, it's probably just like...
Especially today.
Yeah.
It's burning up. It's like 105, I think, today. So that's going to do a great job of keeping the cabin cooler. Your AC is going to work a lot less whenever you're driving. So for a lot of these electric vehicles coming on the market, they're going to get more range. But they all block UV. And so that's going to help keep the interior, again, looking new and fresh.
Yeah. So what's like the coolest car you've ever detailed? I'm sure there's plenty.
I think the top two that I think are the coolest car, we did a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ.
Wow.
Done a couple of those. And then
a couple?
Yeah, a couple of them. Yeah, we've done a lot of work for the Lamborghini of Austin store, and some for the Ferrari of Austin store as well. Then there's a Ferrari SF90. Both of those are pushing $1 million plus cars.
Yeah.
Those are probably the top
What's
two.
like the kind of work that goes into that? I don't know. For me, it sounds like it'd be scary. Like I'd be like so careful with everything I was doing.
At first it was. I mean, the first time you do a car like that, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
You're so worried about everything. But at the end of the day, every car is the same thing, right? It's paint, metal, composites on wheels with an engine. And all the materials are usually the same. So even though there's different types of paint on the market, most of them respond to the same things, right? So once you get comfortable doing that, you look at the cars very differently. So for me, I think it's just getting the first one was just mind-boggling, kind of like when you just repeated back to me all the things
like
that
all
have
the things
happened,
you
and
do,
I'm going, wow, that's a lot of stuff that has happened to me since I started my business. It's the same thing when you get the first car. You're like, oh, I finally made it. I got the car that I've always dreamed of having in here. So it's very exciting.
What's the hardest car?
It's because we do a lot of the paint protection film now, I always look at cars that way. And I think some of the hardest cars that we've done, the Toyota Supras are extremely difficult to do.
Why?
They're just so curvy and bulbous. There's no like real easy way to get film to lay down nicely on those cars. The Mercedes G-Wagons, just the boxy ones, extremely difficult cars to do.
Do you get a lot of those?
We usually don't.
Yeah.
Because we price pretty high on those because of the amount of time it takes to do them at the level that we do them. But we do, 3 to 5 a year, I would say.
Oh, cool. Can you explain some of the differences in different car detailing?
I can explain the differences, and it's also a value thing to me. Like, what's the value to the individual, right? Because everybody cares differently about their cars, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, you've had your car detailed twice. Some of our clients get their cars detailed every week, because they're that OCD level about keeping their car perfect. But there's all kinds of owners out there. So, for some people, a simple spray on, wipe off, ceramic coating is plenty. And for others, put film on the whole car.
Yeah.
So the differences between those, a ceramic coating is going to be like a wax on steroids, right? It's a wipe-on product. It's solvent-based. It has nanotechnology particles, which is basically like, things to the smallest level.
Yeah.
It's silica dioxide is what the particle is.
Okay.
That actually co-binds with the paint and creates this surface that's like Teflon.
Yeah.
So it's, when you get a brand new Teflon pan and you cook an egg in it, everything slides right off.
Yeah.
That's what ceramic coatings do to the paint. So the car is super easy to clean. They're very glossy, so that when you coat a car with a ceramic coating, it just looks
so shiny.
Super shiny. And it stays that way. Your
For how
car, for years. I mean,
really?
these coatings will last, some of them up to 8 years long.
Wow.
And if you care for them, you can get 10 to 12 years of life out of them. The thing that they won't do is they're not going to protect your paint against physical impact. So if you're at a mall and someone walks by with a bag that has a metal thing on it and scratches down the side of your car, that's going to scratch your paint.
Yeah.
If you have a shopping cart hit your car, if you're driving down the road and a rock comes up and hits your hood and you get a chip in the bumper, those kinds of things a ceramic coating will not prevent. That's what paint protection film is for.
Can you get both?
You can. So paint protection film is not going to give you that Teflon slickness that a ceramic coating will. So we have a lot of customers that do both. They'll put,
because it'll get that protection, but also the shininess.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And with ceramic coatings, also you're going to get UV protection for the
Oh,
life of the
really?
coatings, which is going to prevent the paint from fading. You know how
Yeah.
you sometimes you see the paint clear coat where it looks cloudy and oxidized, or it's actually
Especially like black cars, you see all the
yes.
time. Yeah.
So I think that's one thing, UV protection. That's why I say, even if you're just going to do it yourself for the lowest cost possible, that spray on stuff has UV protection as well. But a lot of our customers will do the film and then they'll put the coating over everything for the UV protection, the slickness, and the ease of maintenance.
So how can you maintain the longevity of your paint protection or a detail?
So the best way to maintain the longevity of each product, whether it's paint protection film or ceramic coatings, again, they're different products, right? Both of them are going to offer UV protection.
Yeah.
The ceramic coating, best way to maintain those is to, one, avoid car washes with the swirly brushes. Okay.
Is that like the self-service ones or like
this
the
actually a self-service one, you can do a great job at a self-service car wash.
Okay.
It's the tunnel washes with the brushes that spin. Those actually will abrade the paint, which
Really?
think about what I just said earlier about how dirt is small rocks broken down to their finest particles, right? If a car just in front of you was really dirty and all the dirt came off of the car
So
and is on the brushes and then went to your car and the next car and the next car and the next car, they're like little pieces of sandpaper just
Yeah.
constantly spinning on your paint. And they do have a lot of what they call like a surfactants and things like that to kind of lubricate that process,
Yeah.
but it's still going to scratch the paint. If you have a coating, it'll actually start to abrade the coating off the paint. So you want to avoid those. So we always recommend going through a touchless car wash. So
Okay.
you'll see some of those touchless car washes just use high pressure water, some chemicals to clean the paint. There's other do-it-yourself car washes that you can go to, and you could bring like a bucket, your own bucket filled up with soap, and use your own like microfiber rag to clean the paint. Ceramic coatings are really nice because you can just blow the car off, or you can just
Yeah.
drive the car dry even.
And it won't like leave water spots or anything?
If you use the right kind of water, it won't. So
Okay.
if you use the water out of your hose, you're going to get water spots.
Yeah.
A lot of these touchless car washes use deionized water, which has all of the particles kind of taken out of them. So you can leave them in the sun and it won't leave a water spot. Really, water spots are just all of the minerals that are in the water
Yeah.
itself sticking to your paint and the sun baking them on, and they work their way into the clear coat.
Does that
So-
like ruin it? Water spots?
It could. You can usually sand those out, but if
Okay.
I'm sanding clear coat, I'm actually removing part of your clear coat.
Yeah. So now
And-
that part is now unprotected.
Exactly, and it's thinner. So your
Oh.
clear coat, the more you sand it, the thinner it gets, the less actual clear coat protection that you have, and your paint begins to fail sooner.
Yeah.
So clear coat is only the thickness of
gosh,
about a
there's
sheet
so
of paper.
much
There's
to
so
it.
much, so
Wow.
much. I mean, this is all stuff I've learned over the
Yeah.
last 30 years of doing this. Maintain the coating is going to be, take great care. Try to touch the paint as little as possible. That's the biggest key. For any
Yeah.
paint, the less you touch it, the better. The less anything touches it, the better, because it's sensitive.
Yeah.
Paint protection film is going to give you a lot more protection. So one, it has self-healing capability. I could take a wire brush and scratch the film and park it out in the sun, and it'll heal back to like new, glossy, like it never
Wow.
happened. Paint won't do that. So it gives you a lot more leeway and comfort and
Yeah.
ability to be a little more aggressive and a little less careful with the car.
Yeah.
Because
Especially like those big luxury cars. Like I would be afraid to be just driving it down the street.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned the protection film and scratching it. What
Mm-hmm.
if someone doesn't have that? How do you remove scratches from your car?
So that, again, it's usually going to be depending on the depth of the scratch. That's the key. Like
What if it's just like, I don't know, a dog nail? Let's say that.
that's pretty easy to remove. You can
Okay.
usually polish those off. A general rule of thumb is if I can run my fingernail down the scratch, if my fingernail catches on it, then it's probably going to be really difficult to repair.
Okay.
It's going to mean I need to take off a lot of the clear coat to get it back down below the depth of that scratch to
Yeah.
make it disappear. So usually it's going to require some level of sanding or polishing to get those kinds of scratches out.
So you mentioned a little bit about car washes, but I just wanted to know if you're gonna like wash your car at home or like you said, the self-service one. What should people look for in wash products?
Doing this for as long as I have, I've seen so many products come to market, and then unfortunately for consumers, there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah.
Like I've seen, you can use toothpaste to get scratches out on your paint.
Oh yeah,
you
I've seen
know.
ramen.
I've seen, yeah,
It's
it
like the
doesn't
most
make any
craziest
sense.
things.
So there's a lot of misinformation. You really don't need a lot to take care of your car.
Yeah.
You need a soap. I always say use a soap that does not say wash and shine or wash and wax. Just a standard car wash soap.
No 3-in-1. Just
Right. Those, because especially with a coating, if you use a soap like that on a coating, it'll actually gum up the coating itself and it'll stop having that slickness that you want from a coating. But if you just use a regular soap, car wash soap, not Dawn from your under your sink or a hand soap. It's got to be car wash soap because it's specifically formulated. You want to use a good mitt that's got like a thick microfiber kind of product on it. Even a thick microfiber towel will work to wipe everything down. I always say start from the top, work your way down, and rinse as you go. That's important. And if you have a coating, I always say blow dry your car off. Again, touching it as little as possible.
like with heat or just air?
Air. So you can use, some people have air compressors at home. You can use an air compressor. You can use a leaf blower.
Oh,
That you use to
that's smart.
leaf off your driveway. You can push that on your car.
DIY.
Yeah, it's great. And there's actually car blowers out there now for people that have cars that they want to just air dry. And they're high velocity. They actually came from the dog grooming industry because they would use them to dry the dogs. So now they're using them for car blowers.
Wow.
So I would do that. And then again, just keeping some type of quick and easy spray, silica dioxide based spray sealant that you can spray on your car when you're done. And just keep everything as clean as possible. That's the key.
Well, yeah, especially with cars being such a depreciating asset.
Exactly.
I think you should definitely invest a little bit of time in keeping that value. But so my last question for you is not really automotive related, but it can be if you want to. If you could tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
Start sooner. I didn't start my business until I was 40. And I wish I'd started it when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
So I would say start sooner. Don't let fear drive your decisions. Right? If you have fear, go towards that thing you're afraid of.
Usually fear is what is going to make the biggest difference in your life.
Absolutely. The best things come from the you overcoming that fear.
Yeah.
And so I would say those are the two biggest things for me would be just do it. If you've got a dream, go after it.
Yeah.
I had chased my dream of making a lot of money. So I went into a sales role and I became a VP at a digital agency, which I love marketing. I think it's exciting. It's fun. But I was chasing the money.
Yeah.
But this dream never went away.
Yeah.
I always wanted to have my own shop.
And here you are.
Here I am, but I'm older, I have kids. And so, starting a business is so much work in the beginning.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of your time. And, I didn't get to spend as much time with my younger kids as I would have loved to. And if I was in my 20s, I'd be well on my way to be having a carefree business almost.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Brad. This was awesome.
Absolutely. It was a joy.
I didn't even realize how much you could actually learn about paint protection. I have only ever thought about the spray stuff you talked about. I never thought about any of this. So this was awesome. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. It was fun.
Thank you everyone for joining. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And as always, if you have any questions about the automotive industry, please feel free to leave them down below and maybe we'll feature them in the next video. Bye.